Hi, I'm Dhaval and I'll give you a short introduction to debugging with GDB, GNU debugger. I am using a Windows machine and I will download Cygwin, which is a Windows subsystem for Linux, WSL for short. A WSL allows you to run Linux or Unix-like commands on a Windows machine. I'll download the setup from over here, which I've actually already done. Cygwin setup is more like a package manager. You must have encountered package managers like Mictex or Latex, which serve for LaTeX distributions. They're somewhat like pip, which is a dependency manager for Python. PHP dependency managers are Composer and Chocolatey. They install from Internet option will download the package files and save them in local directory. The root directory for Cygwin preferably should not have a space in the anywhere in the directory, even in the parent folder. This is the convention that is required for WAMP 64 as well, or any of the LAMP WAMP distributions, XAMPP as well. But you can have spaces in the package directory, which is this one. I'll navigate to it over here. And the packages which were downloaded before from various servers have been various mirrors to the same server have been stored in the respective folders over here. The last one I used has been highlighted by default. This is the same one. And the files are over here. I am interested in GCC, GNU Compiler Collection packages. The ones that will be required for me to download are, of course, GDB itself, which I have, so I'll keep it. You may choose to uninstall, reinstall, or change to the latest version. In GCC, you need GCC core, so click 10201 because this is in the test version. You'll need this one, this one, this one, and this one. So I'll avoid it over here, but you have to continue the installation on your machine. I'll start with a very simple program. Is this? I'll change directory to projects problems. I'm using forward slashes because backward slashes are used for escape sequences, and Windows is not case sensitive, so I can use small p, even though directory name starts with a capital P. You're probably used to this variant of this G compile command, GCC compile command, but we will be, or you might have also used this one, e.o, e.c, which creates an object code file, or simply a, which creates an executable. We will use this variant. The -g parameter instructs GCC to ensure that we'll be able to use this with the GDB debugger for debugging purposes. And we'll introduce this file with this. Now I'll look at the code using the L command. And I'll place breakpoints on line 6, on line 8, and on line. Okay, that's it. B and break are identical, R and run are identical. Also, C and continue are identical, Q and Q quit are identical. You can always use the help command. You can view all of your breakpoints using info B, and I will run. First execution might take some time. The enabled column tells you whether the breakpoint has been enabled or not. Okay, so I have a breakpoint over here. It'll expect an input from me, but since there's a breakpoint, there's a small hiccup over here. So try not to put any breakpoints around a scanner statement. So I'll continue with C and I'll step into the next breakpoint. Let's disable the first breakpoint. Disable bnum. I'll run again. It'll ask me for an input this time. 1, continue, and I have printed A and B here. Trying a slightly different program this time. I will simply print C, which has been assigned the value of 1 over A. Great. L twice. Breakpoints on line 8, line 10, and on line 4. I'll run. All the variables are uninitialized, so I can print them using p or print and see the value they have been given, and they'll change gradually in the progression of my program. I have got this breakpoint over here. Since I did not enter any input for A, as there's a breakpoint on line 4, I have a sig FPE signal for floating point exception and arithmetic exception of divided by 0. I just want to get rid of the third breakpoint. So C was not printed because we had an error. Everything else went fine. Now, this disable works fine when you have found out what error you have and you don't want the execution to halt the next time. You can also delete all of these breakpoints using this command, and there are none. But if you want them to be reinstated, what you can do is you can save breakpoints in a file which will be accessible even after you restart your system, even after you close Sigwin. So I'll delete all of them and to info B there are none. Source pp, source pp, I'm sorry, and you can see they're back in place. I'd like to place a condition on breakpoint number 6. So this syntax, bnum is the breakpoint number. The expression is the expression that I want to be evaluated. This follows the same syntax of as of the language that you're using for debugging or for coding. I want this to be activated if and only if A has a value of 0. A has a value of 1. I have only one breakpoint. Great. Expected output. A has a value of 0. I have a breakpoint here, an exception, and another breakpoint. No, there's no breakpoint because the program is terminated. Cool. Also, ignore this exactly twice or thrice or 4 times. I'll just ignore it for 2 times. So this time, regardless of what input I give, I will get a breakpoint. Let's try with 0 this time. You would expect a breakpoint here, line update, if and only if A is 0, and that's what has happened. Great. Just wanted to show one more thing. If I save all of my breakpoints in BP, when I restore them, they are restored in exactly the same state as I stored them in. They'll be disabled, they'll have the conditions with them, and so on and so forth. So if you, I urge you to go to this website, the official website for GDB, the GNU Project Debugger, and go to documentation, uh, online documentation, download it in PDF as I have done, or you may just use this command. Download it over here, and this gave me valuable insights which are not available on the internet. A watch point can be set up which halts execution temporarily every time the value of an expression changes, or you can set condition breakpoints. You can skip breakpoints relating to certain functions or functions belong to a certain file. You can do plenty of other things, uh, such as integrating parent and child threads, killing threads, uh, running GDB with just a specific thread, or you have just-in-time compilation over here. These will actually save you a lot of time in your programming career or your journey. And of course, once you have gone through this traditional method of debugging with the command line, uh, it's really beneficial to use a text editor or an IDE. My favorite is VS Code because uh, it has a more batteries included approach. As soon as I open a .c file or a .py file, it uh, with a single click allows me to install all of the required linters and debuggers or dependencies, not dependencies, but extensions. Yeah, all of the extensions that are required to code with Python, code in Python or C, and I'm good to go with a single click. But of course, you're free to choose your own IDE or your text editor and exploit to a required extent all of the facilities that are available with it. I'll stop sharing and stop recording. Thank you for listening. Happy coding.